Introduction to Macbeth. The entirety of the play in Macbeth is centered around several themes. These are themes of ambition, the supernatural, loyalty and betrayal, good and evil, gender, reality and appearances, and fate and free will. You will need to know all these themes as you will be required to respond to them when asked in an exam. It's also important to know, when learning Macbeth, the historical context of Macbeth. Macbeth was most likely written in 1606 during the reign of James I. Shakespeare was a patron of James. This may have influenced his writing due to his close dependency on the sovereign. This is evident as in Macbeth he talks of Scottish kings, which may be to pay tribute to James, as James had a Scottish lineage. So what I mean by all this is that Shakespeare being a patron of James means that Shakespeare's work was paid for by the king. Hence, he is likely to write for the king or things that the king would like for his own job security. In 1600s, it's also important to note that there was lots of betrayals to kings or political leaders. For example, in 1605, there was the Gunpowder Plot, and in 1601, Essex was executed for treason. This also may have influenced his work and may have contributed to him writing about themes of loyalty and betrayal, like what is written in Macbeth. Furthermore, during the context of the time, it's important to note that most women were housewives and were expected to be traditional maternal and stay within the housewife's role. In the exam, depending on your exam board, you will be asked to answer an essay question on Macbeth. Example questions on how this might be laid out is, how does Shakespeare present the theme of ambition in Macbeth? Another example is, how does Shakespeare present ideas of good and evil in Macbeth? And finally, another example is, how does Shakespeare explore ideas of loyalty and betrayal in Macbeth? In the exam on Macbeth, 4 skills will be tested. Your ability to write about the text in a thoughtful and clear way using evidence to back up your point will be tested. So here you will need to present to the examiner that you understand the play and you are able to formulate points about the play. You will also be examined on your ability to pick out features from the text, such as form, structure, language, and explain how these are used by Shakespeare to create effects. Furthermore, your knowledge of the social and historical context of this play will also be very important. Finally, you will need to use a clear and effective structure. So in order to do the last point, I will briefly go through how to structure your answer. A good way to structure your answer is to first have an introduction. You must include an introduction. This will be a brief and clear answer to the question. It's necessary to have an introduction so you can show the examiner straight away what line of argument you are taking to the exam question. It must be clear here the point/argument that you are trying to make. The middle section of your essay will include 3 to 6 paragraphs that include 3 to 6 points and evidence to back up all these points. You must ensure when using the evidence that you explain exactly why the evidence proves your point. Your paragraph should ideally include a point, evidence to back up the point, analysis of the techniques used, explanation and development of the point by further analysis of historical context. If you include all of these things in each paragraph, you are likely to meet the requirements of the examiner. Finally, in the conclusion, which is the last section, you must sum up all your main points. So you sum up every point you have made in each individual paragraph and you explain how this all led you to your conclusion or your belief, your answer to the question. So how did all those points lead to your line of argument? I hope you found this video useful. Support us by liking, subscribing and sharing with your friends. If you have any questions, post it on our forum at examqa.com.